אילו פינו מלא שיר הקיים ולשונה אילו פינו מלא שיר הקיים ולשוננו רינה וידינו פרוסות כנשרי שמיים ורגלינו קלות כיילות ואילו פינו מלא שיר הקיים ולשוננו רינה וידינו פרוסות כנשרי שמיים ורגלינו קלות כיילות אין אנחנו מספיקים להודות לך ולברך את שמך מלך מלכי המלכים, מלך מלכי המלכים, מלך מלכי המלכים. אין אנחנו מספיקים להודות לך ולברך את שמך מלכנו. אין אנחנו מספיקים להודות לך ולברך את שמך מלכנו.
אילופינו מלא שיר הקיים ולשוננו רינה וידינו פרוסות כנשרי שמיים ורגלינו קלות כילות. ואילופינו מלא שיר הקיים ולשוננו רינה וידינו פרוסות כנשרי שמיים ורגלינו קלות כילות. מספיקים להודות לך ולברך את שמך מלך מלכי המלכים, מלך מלכי המלכים, מלך מלכי המלכים. אין אנחנו מספיקים להודות לך ולברך את שמך מלכנו. אין אנחנו מספיקים להודות לך ולברך את שמך מלכנו, מלכנו, מלכנו.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei El, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei El, Malachei Elyon,
ברוך הוא, הקדוש ברוך הוא, ברכוני לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, מי מלך מלאכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, הקדוש ברוך הוא, בשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון,
מי מלך מלכי המלכים,
הקדוש ברוך הוא, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שבת שלום, שבת שלום, שבת שלום, שבת שלום, שבת שבת שלום ומבורך, שבת שבת שלום ומבורך. Good Shabbos, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
What a joy is to start the Shabbat as community and to know that we are welcoming Shabbat together. We added a new thing to our Shabbatot, and we now can see some of our congregants on Zoom, and what a pleasure, what a privilege is to see some of our beloved faces, our beloved community faces, smiling there and feeling that we are such a treat to see your faces and to feel that we are sharing this space. And of course, we have a similar feeling with those that are joining us on YouTube and on Facebook, and in the many possible ways that we can connect and be present for each other. It makes a difference. It makes a difference to be together in Zoom and to be able to see each other's faces. It makes a difference to tune into Facebook or YouTube and decide that we together are going to transform this Friday night into a night of Shabbat. I invite you to bring candles, if you have candles next to you, to prepare a cup of wine or something to celebrate and to announce the beginning of Shabbat. That will be by the end of our service. And to join us as we turn our Sidurim to page 20 for the blessing for the candle lighting.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher
קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר Shabbat Shalom. We will now turn our Sidurim to page 130, followed by 131. Lechun Elena. Let's welcome Shabbat with joy and Shir Adonai, Shir Chadash, and let's welcome this day as an opportunity for becoming a new song for personal transformation. אדוני מלך תגל הארץ, ישמחו הים רבים, ולשרו על הצדיק ולשרי לב שמחה. שמחו צדיקים באדוני, והודו לשכל קודשו. זמרו לאדוני בכינור. Remember that the word samru means sing, but also lesamer, it means to cut off. So we try with the Shabbos melodies to cut off, to let go of things that we don't need to carry with us as we try to welcome this sacred, this seventh day. We're on page 134.
Zamru l'Adonai bechinor, bechinor v'kol zimra, b'chatzrotzrot v'kol shofar, hariu lifnei hamelech Adonai. Yiram hayom umro,
את עינינו. I invite you to take a moment and to observe the Shabbos candles in your home or here in the shul. We'll try to use the magic of technology to go and to have a frame of those Shabbos candles. Can we have a frame of the Shabbat candles, Zach? Yes. What? Yes. Those Shabbos candles are a reminder of the light of creation. Shabbat is a reminder of Maseh Bereshit, of the creation of the world. It's an invitation to connect with our core, to connect with our foundations, to embrace the simplicity of life, and to allow that light become a part of our vision, a part of how we want to navigate our world and particularly our lives. We're on page 136, Mizmor David, Psalm 29. Mizmor לדוד, אבו לאדוני בנהלים, אבו לאדוני כבודך בעוז, אבו לאדוני כבוד שמו, השתחוו לאדוני בהדרת קודש, ולאדוני העלמיים, אל על כבוד עירים, אדוני, אדוני, על מים רבים, כל אדוני בכוח, כל אדוני והדר, כל אדוני שובר ארסים וישבר אדוני את ארצי הלבנון, וירקידם כמו עגל לבנון בסיריון, כמו בן רבים. כל אדוני חוצב לעבוד אש, כל אדוני יכיל מדבר, יכיל אדוני מדבר קדש, כל אדוני יכול איילון, ויחשוף יערון, ובחלום כולו מרכבות, ובחלום כולו מרכבות. אדוני למבול ישב, וישב אדוני מלך לעולם, אדוני יוס לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמיו בשלום, את עמו, את עמו, את עמו בשלום. Beloved, come to meet the bride. Beloved, come to greet Shabbat. Let's come to the encounter of the divine. We're on page 138 from Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekavela.
Shamor ושחור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד, ושמו לתפארת ולתהילה.
אדוני לקראת קבלה, בשבת נקבלה. אדוני לקראת קבלה, בשבת נקבלה.
לקראת שבת לכוון אליך, כי היא מקור הברכה. ראש מקדם נשואה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך אדוני לקראת קבלה, בשבת נקבלה. לך אדוני לקראת קבלה, בשבת נקבלה. The fifth verse of Lechadodi says, wake up, eternity. And I see some people dancing on Zoom. So if you want to move your shoulders a little and wake up, this is a great opportunity to do that. Eternity, eternity. Vivavorech, kumioni, kumioni, shidadeni, kevodadonai alai. Lechadodi לקראת קבלה, בשבת נקבלה. לechadodi לקראת קבלה, בשבת נקבלה. לא תבושי, don't be embarrassed. לא תבושי ולא תיכלמי, מה תשכחי ומה תהמי. מה יחזו אני הימין, ונפנתה ילדתי. לחדוני לקראת קהלה, בשבת נקבלה. לחדוני לקראת קהלה, בשבת נקבלה. אוי ושלום התרת בלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה. תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי קלה, בואי קלה. לחדוני לקראת קהלה, בשבת נקבלה. לחדוני לקראת קהלה, בשבת נקבלה. What a good thing is to welcome Shabbat with our bodies, with our whole spirit. We will take a moment to welcome each other, to acknowledge each other's presence. We invite you to say good Shabbos on the comments on Facebook, on YouTube, and of course on Zoom. Good Shabbos, everyone. Good Shabbos, Esther. Good Shabbos, Lined, Cantor Shalom, Fred and Cindy, and the dogs. And we saw them. And I'm not seeing everyone. I have to say that the screen is a bit late. Ken Bloomfield, I can see you. So nice to see you. And Ruthie, you are there. Who am I missing? Arlene, good Shabbos. Good Shabbos. It's fantastic to see you. And we say good Shabbos. Hope I'm not. Marty Baker Jordan is there. I hope I'm not missing anyone. But good Shabbos to Evan and to Anna, who came to beautify our service with her presence and her voice. Good Shabbos to Zach and Jordan. I hope we are not forgetting anyone. Good Shabbos to all those on Facebook and on YouTube. And I hope that you are saying good Shabbos to each other. We'll turn now our Sidurim to page 140. One more psalm for Shabbat. Mizmor Shir LeYom HaShabbat.
מזמור, מזמור שיר, שיר ליום השבת. 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 מזמור שיר, שיר ליום השבת. מזמור שיר, שיר ליום השבת. מזמור, מזמור שיר, שיר ליום השבת. מזמור, מזמור שיר, שיר ליום השבת. מזמור שיר, שיר ליום השבת. מזמור שיר, שיר ליום השבת. מזמור, מזמור שיר, שיר ליום השבת. מזמור, מזמור שיר, שיר ליום השבת.
Page 144.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל. בגלה, בגלה, ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן. איש ברבך לעולם לא בעלמיה יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה. בריחו לאלה מכל ברכתה בשירתה. תושבחתה לנחמתה תמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן.
Invite you to rise, your legs, your spirit. Rise, to elevate yourself. As we turn our Sidurim to page 146. The prayer, the communal prayer that opens the gates for the Shema. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, bringing light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzevaot is your name, ever-living God. May you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening, Baruch atah Adonai, Amarif Aravim. בת עולם בית ישראל, עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. Everlasting love you offer your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts, by sheltering us with the love of your mitzvot, with the love of our tradition. We rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on those mitzvot. Because that sense of proximity helps us to feel connected to you, but more than anything else, to you through each other's presence, through the beauty of your creatures, of your love. I invite you to close your eyes just for a moment and to think, what is the meaning of that everlasting love for you? To picture something that represents an unconditional love. Allow that love, that beauty to surround you. Transform that presence into a light. Maybe a light that looks like the light of our nerot, of our candles. And as you breathe in, count 7, and bring that light into your body. Let the light replace all the things that you don't need in your system, that don't belong to you. Let them go as you exhale. Let's try together. Breathe in 7, and then out also in 7. We bring light and love, and we allow things that we don't want to carry with us to leave us. We carry so many things that don't belong to us. As we get closer to the Shema, we recognize those things. It's a moment of unity with our own souls. Of unity with that love. As we say, dear God, please never remove your embrace, your love from us. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. We're on page 152 for the Shema.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Adonai Echad
page 154.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בהם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
אמת, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. אמת ואמון הכל, סוד בקיים עלינו, כי הוא אדוני אלוהינו, ואין זולתו, ואנחנו ישראל. אמן. As we are thinking of Birkat HaGeulah, also known as Mi Chamocha, I was thinking about the fact that we just learned that the Orange County is going back into the purple tier, and that we're going to experience once again, or I don't know if we experienced in the past, but we'll have a curfew. And that we are in this very long journey in which many of us feel prisoners of this pandemic, and we can't wait to see the other side of the Red Sea, the Promised Land, the Promised Land of healing, the Promised Land of gathering in the shul, business as usual. We can't wait for that to be once again a part of our realities. And we got good news over the last week in the context of the pandemic. We heard that Moderna and Pfizer are getting closer and closer to having the vaccinations that, God willing, will allow all of us to return to some normality as we recall it. So in this moment of a little bit of light, a little bit of promise, and in this moment of transition, as we keep walking in this uncertain journey, we keep walking together, and as much as we can, with joy, because we need to make sure that this walk, that this journey is meaningful. Chamocha balim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef ele, nora tehilot osef ele, hayrai rai malchotecha v'ahuvanecha, bokeyam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam. Seheli anu ve'amenu, oy seheli anu ve'amenu. Ay rai 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 malchutecha v'ahuvanecha, bokeyam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam. Seheli anu ve'amenu, oy seheli anu ve'amenu, Adonai imloch le'olam ba'ed, ונאמר כי אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חסד ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, Gaal Israel. We turn our Sidurim to page 160. Thank you so much for the blessing for our inner peace. Ashkeveinu Adonai Eloheinu le Shalom.
Sometimes I lay under the moon and thank God I'm breathing. And I pray, don't take me soon, 'cause I am here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more war, and our children will play one day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day. Hashkirenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom, leHavideinu Shomereinu lechaim. Hashkirenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom, leHavideinu Shomereinu lechaim. Ufrosaheinu Sukat Shlomecha, Betagneinu Be'etza Tova milefanecha. All my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more war, and our children will say one day, one day, one day, one
Ashkeveinu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom, le'amideinu shomreinu lechaim. Baruch atah Adonai, הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל, להר ירושלים. Blessed are you, Adonai. Garden of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over your holy city, Jerusalem. We are going to turn our Sidurim now to page 162. And we say, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. A covenant between generations. And what a wonderful thing when we think about this covenant between generations is that you, Anna, next generation, taught me this melody a couple of years ago when you were our active song leader. And it's so refreshing that each generation brings new melodies, new readings to this covenant, to this commitment, to keep Shabbat as a part of our lives and to allow Shabbat to keep our people alive. We're on page 162.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את
164. We turn toward Jerusalem, the eternal capital of our people, of the Jewish people, and the symbol of our search for our spiritual core, for our center. Adonai, שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילה, תהילתך, תהילתך. אתה גיבור העולם, אדוני. אתה קדוש בשם קדוש. ויציאה, אולי לא. לא יודע מה תקווה ותהיה לרצון תמיד אמוש. לציון. למלך נפשתו, לא יעבודנו במותנו, לעולם בעת, זהו חיינו וגנשנו, ודוח לדור ודור, נודה לך מזכות. צבעים, טוב לב. אמרו לישראל עמך, תשים לעולם, כי... יהיו לרצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי וגואלי. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, Adonai, my rock and my redeemer. יעשה שלום במרומיו ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל במרומיהם. The one who makes peace in the high heavens will make peace for us here, will help us understand that peace is wholeness, is achieved by understanding and by engaging with each other. Baruch atah Adonai oseh Shalom. Blessed are you, Adonai, maker of peace. We now take a moment to acknowledge dear beloved people dealing with illness in their bodies, in their souls, dealing with addictions. We think of you, we think of them, and we together pray for their recovery. Page 371, Misheverach. שלמה, בהחלמה מהירה, a complete and a fast recovery. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Once again, what a privilege is to be able to see some of you and knowing that many others are connecting with us as well on YouTube and on Facebook. It's a privilege nonetheless. So this week we are reading Parashat. Come on, write it in the chat. You can do it. Who said Toldot? One of you for sure say Toldot. So we are reading Parashat Toldot. Here you go. Ruthie say Toldot. Thank you, Ruthie. We needed you. Thank you for coming this Shabbos. And I will say that Ruthie had a Beit Din this week. We don't sound the trumpets yet, but she had a Beit Din this week. And very, very, very soon she'll have a mikveh, and she will be coming up to the Torah in a few more weeks. So we can't wait. We are so, so excited and so proud of you, Rudy. Toldot. Ele Toldot Yitzchak. This is the story of Isaac. However, the word Toldot actually is a plural. These are the stories. These are the histories of Isaac. And we, as the Torah portion starts, we learn that when Isaac got married with Rebekah, he was 40 years old. He was Ben Arbaim. Now, the rabbis make the math, and immediately they understand that there is a gap. How old was Sarah when she died in Parashat Chayei Sarah? Parashat Chayei Sarah starts by stating that Sarah was 127 years old. If so, Isaac, or Yitzchak, he has these three names, so whatever comes, I hope you understand. Yitzchak was then 37. Now, the story with Rebekah happens almost immediately, but now he's 40. So we are missing 3 years. And then, there's lots of place for interpretation. The Zohar, the Kabbalistic tradition says, the mystic tradition says, that Isaac spent 3 years in the Garden of Eden. And the reason for that is that he was about to get married. And when we get married, our souls become something else. And in order to have a good restart, a refreshing experience, and for his soul to be able to connect with Rebekah's soul and become one flesh, as the Torah explains in Parashat Bereshit, the first Torah portion of the book of Genesis, he needed to go back to the base, to the foundation, aka the Garden of Eden. Now, I must tell you something. I find that explanation a little bit unsettling. It makes me uncomfortable. And it makes me uncomfortable because very often in people's stories, in the stories of our lives, we have chapters, we have periods of time that we don't really know how to explain. You know, whoever made a CV in the last 20 years, all of us, you are supposed to explain month by month what you were doing. So often people don't know what to say about certain periods of time in their lives. As women that sometimes need to make all kind of stories or actually put themselves to study or to do something very active work-wise while they are in maternity leave. Because otherwise there is a gap in your career, in your CV. As people that is undergoing a crisis or mourning, and all what they were able to do was just to be in that process or stay sad. Sometimes we don't know how to articulate very important things, but they are nonetheless very important. They don't work well with our CV, with the sequence of events. And the Torah is going ahead with the sequence, but there still is a gap. There is a gap of 3 years. So I want to offer some ideas for those 3 years. And in order to explain what happened, we have the rabbis also to explain that, so we're going to use them. What happened during those 3 years, we will go back to Parashat Vayera, 2 Torah portions ago. The end of Parashat Vayera is the Akedah, the binding of Isaac. Now, after the binding, Isaac and Abraham, they part ways. Abraham goes back to Beersheba, and where does Isaac go? Well, we don't exactly know until the last Torah portion, Parashat Hayei Sarah, in which we read that when Isaac is called to come and meet Rebekah, let's see where he was. Isaac had just come back from the vicinity of Be'er Lahai Roi, for he was settled in the region of the Negev. Be'er Lahai Roi. What's that place? Well, we know that place from a previous story in the Torah. Any idea from where we know that place? Did anyone think of Agar? The first time that Agar escapes, she goes to Be'er Hai Roi. That's in the book of Genesis, chapter 16, verses between, and I'm going to read them for you, but it's there, so you can go and read that later on, between verses 13 and 16. So the first thing that we know is that after the Akedah, after the binding, Isaac goes back to a place in which we know at some point Agar was there. Agar and Ishmael. And there are 2 interesting explanations. One that says that Isaac was in his way to find some different experience of God. After the very traumatic experience of the Akedah, he's looking for some merciful expression of God. But also, the rabbis say that Isaac is experiencing some more empathy with Agar. And he also understands that his dad is already alone or about to be alone, and he needs a wife for him. Now, later on, in that same Torah portion, in Parashat Hayei Sarah, we learn that Abraham has a new wife. What's the name of that wife? Ketorah. We learn that Abraham has a new wife, Ketorah, that comes immediately after Isaac meets Rebekah. And the rabbis in Midrash Rabbah say, Ketorah is Agar. Ketorah, that woman, and Agar are the same woman. And the rabbis explain that Isaac brought her. Now, the question is, what was Isaac doing there? why he went to Agar. Why, after the binding, Isaac goes directly to Agar? And I wish Isaac had articulated that in the Torah itself, but we don't know, and therefore we have some rabbinical explanations. I want to offer one of them to you. Isaac was hurting after the binding, and he was a bit confused. And he went to an empathetic figure that he knew. He went to Agar. He went to his brother Ishmael. He went to reencounter them. He went to look for healing. He went to look for continuity for his father. And then he comes back. Now the interesting thing, and then he meets his wife, he gets married, and the rest of the story is very clear in the Torah. But this chapter, this period of time of 3 years, is not there. It's one of those chapters that we don't know how to talk about them in our CV. Now, our lives, we don't live our lives for our CV. Some people say that we actually need to live our lives for our eulogy, for our stories, for our interactions. I think that it happens too often that many of our interactions, many of our challenges, we don't know how to articulate them. We know how to articulate the things that we can post on Facebook. So our lives, as we share it with others, they go from highlight to highlight, from post to post. But life is actually what happens in the middle. Life is actually those stories that we are not taking the time to articulate. And so this Torah portion starts by telling us, these are the stories of Isaac. Some of them were articulated, but many others that are very, very important weren't written, weren't described, weren't articulated. Nobody posted them on Facebook. And I think that this Torah portion is an invitation to look at our own lives, to look at chapters of our lives that we don't know how to talk about them. Like 3 months, 4 months, 3 years. Chapters that were meaningful to us. Maybe because of their sadness. Maybe because of the nature of the interactions. Maybe because we were busy with personal growth. But they are important to tell the story of who we are. So let's take the invitation. Let's try to look at our lives, and let's try to bring some light, some words, some articulation to our own stories. And with that articulation, let's express the wholeness of life, and let's find, as Isaac symbolizes, continuity. Shabbat Shalom. We will now turn our Sidurim to page 586 for Aleinu Leshabeach. Behashevota, Behashevota, El Levavecha, will now take a moment to acknowledge mourners among our community. If you are during the first 7 days of mourning, please share in the comments the names of those who you are remembering. And so, if you are during the first 30 days of mourning, or during the cycle of the first 11 months, the first year of mourning, we also invite you to share the names of your beloved ones if you have a yahrzeit this week. Zach, if we have the power is anyone in Zoom remembering someone with a yahrzeit, or I see Elaine Sokol, who is in the cycle of the first year of mourning, remembering her beloved husband, Harvey Sokol. I don't see anyone else. I hope I'm not omitting anyone. Now, with all these names in this space that we create together in our hearts, we will turn our Siurim to page 598 for Mourner's Kaddish. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי הרבה.
אמן.
בעלמה דברה חירותה, בימליך מלכותה. בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, באמרו אמן. יהא שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא. ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קודשה בריחו. אלא מן כל ברכתה ושירתה. תושבחתה ונחמתה, תמירם בעלמה, ואמרו אמן. יהא שלמה רבה מן שמיה, בחיים טובים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. May the memories of your dear ones be always a blessing in your life. יהא זכרם ברוך. Three quick things. Number one, I want to thank all those who were involved in two events that happened last week. One was our sisterhood pajama brunch. I've been hearing during the entire week more and more comments of what a joyful event that was. So Sergio, Evelyn, and all the group that work with you in the organization of that wonderful event. That same day, we celebrated Mitzvah Day, and it was a fantastic, fantastic event. We were able to reach many people that are in need and to bring some of the love of our community to fellow members and to fellow citizens here in Fullerton. And we were also able to put ourselves in action, to move a little bit. It's very important to remember that our tradition is an engine, is a power to do and to bring good to the world. So we pray or practice prayers in this sanctuary, but we try to pray with our legs as soon as we leave the sanctuary, and we share our love and light with the rest of the world. We started our class Isha as we are exploring remarkable Jewish women. And it was wonderful to spend some time just talking about Eve. I don't know when was the last time that you spent an hour speaking about Eve, but I did it last week with a group of remarkable Jewish women and a man. Jerry Levine was there, so he was the righteous man who showed up. So you can join us not this Monday, the next Monday, and we will be happy to see you. And I hope I'm not forgetting anything. We are grateful for all those that were able to connect with us today and those that are present here. And we will turn now our series into page 122 for Kiddush. Kiddush, Beichulu Hashamayim Ba'aretz Bechol Tzeva'am. Say Secher Lemaseh Bereshit. The heaven and the earth were finished, and all their array. On the seventh day, God finished the work that God had been doing, and God ceased on the seventh day from all the work that he had done. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on it God ceased from all work of creation that God had done as an invitation for us to participate. בערב בבוקר יום השישי, ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם בורא פרי הגפן, ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ברצה בנו בשבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו זיכרון למעשה בראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקרא קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת עם כל העמים בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת לחיים. I invite you to rise and to connect maybe with those that are next to you, and if you happen to be physically alone, to connect with those that you love and that make you feel loved. We make sure that nobody leaves this space without a blessing. We are carriers of blessings. We have been carrying these blessings for more than 2,000 years. The love that comes from generation to generation and that we try to share with the next generations. We think of our grandparents. We think of our parents if we don't have the privilege to have them with us. In Shabbat, connected in the world of time, we can close our eyes and feel the loving hands, the loving presence. And we think of our children that are close to our hearts. As we share and we say, Yasimecha Elohim, Kefraim Bekemenashe. May God inspire you to live like Ephraim and Menashe. And to our girls we say, Yasimech Elohim, Kesara, Rivka, Rachel, Leah. May God inspire you to be like the mothers, the remarkable mothers of Israel. And to all of them we say, Yebrechechem, Adonai, Beish Merechem. May God bless you and protect you. Yair Adonai, Panav Elechem, Beichunechem. May God's light shine upon you, and may God be gracious to you. Isa Adonai panav elechem, ve'asim lachem shalom. May you find God's presence within you always. And may God bless you with the ability to own your story, to share your story, to love your story, to know that you can articulate, write, and rewrite your story because it's yours. May God bless you with the strength to undertake your journey. And may God bless you and all of us with wholeness, with peace, with shalom. Adonai os lamo iten, Adonai yevarech et amo b'shalom. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Oh, yeah, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, with thanksgiving. I'll be a living sanctuary.
שכנתי בתוך העם, אנחנו נברך גם מעתה מהיום שכנתי בתוך העם, ואנחנו נברך גם מעתה ועד עולם. Good Shabbos, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. It was wonderful seeing you. So nice to see you.